Good evening, Carpheadbangers. Welcome back to Let's Talk Fishing. First of all, I'd just like to say, get some pleasantries out the way. Big, massive thank you to all the support on our first Let's Talk Fishing show, shall we say. I was pretty unsure to send that video out, to be fair, because I wasn't really happy with the finish with it, but I've just felt the content just had to be shown, so it is what it is. And we've got more light in the studio, yes, the Carpheadbangers studio, so got no dark shadows or wearing those Polaroid sunglasses, look. Anyway, massive thank you for all the support. Comments were brilliant. We've got a winner for the hoodie, so I'll announce that in a bit. Yeah, it was just made up. It was really nice to talk to new people I haven't even talked to before, to be fair. It was just a nice surprise, the fact that you can actually talk fishing with people, because in my opinion, it's something we need to talk a little bit more about. But before I go on to stuff like that, and the title of the show for today is, Are We Forgetting to Think About Angling? So anyway, before I go on to that, I'd just like to announce, well, not announce, you probably already heard, to be fair. I just managed to be on my iPad before, and I just picked up on the Angling Times that, you know, the sad passing of John Wilson. Obviously died in his at his home in Thailand. For me, he had the magic touch, Carpheadbangers. He just done it for me. What an angler. I used to watch him on the telly, and he just sort of, he's got similar personalities or characteristics, I should say, to myself, and I just admired the man. He just engaged me, to be fair, as an angler. And obviously when I was used to watch him on TV, obviously I was a lot younger then, and to be fair, I wasn't really into fishing at the time when I used to watch John Wilson on television, and but it was just something you just naturally felt, and just enjoyed his presence, the way he just put himself across, trying to teach us anglers how to fish, and obviously he had a smile on his face and he enjoyed what he'd done. And for me, he's just a man you would never forget in relation to your interest as being as an angler. So I'm sure you've all had his presence in your TVs and radios and reading his books and things like that. So for me, not that I knew the man personally, because I didn't. I just, like yourselves, obviously seen him on TV, and he used to just do what he did, and it was just a joy to watch. And for me, I just got nothing but respect for that, you know, the man himself. So I'd just like to send me condolences to his family, and on behalf of us Carpheadbangers. So just sad, because he was just a bloody legend at the end of the day. So it's just one of them, innit? We all just have to move on in time, and hopefully look for the next magic moment. But all I can say about John Wilson is the fact that he certainly set the standards in fishing, how to respect people, how to communicate with people, how to, you know, want anglers to learn how to become better within themselves. And I just think the old days of how angling was taught to us anglers, and how to engage us, how to, you know, grasp our imagination in order to enjoy fishing for what it is. I just feel it's been lost a little bit, especially through social media, which you obviously highlighted a few times. And I just think we're just more a case of liking the next post rather than thinking about angling and how you think you could possibly improve things and things like that. So obviously I want to talk about that. So anyway, it's just sad that John's gone, because obviously he'd be greatly missed by a lot of people, but I'm sure his presence will still be around, because obviously he was a man who'd been angling for over 50 years. Obviously, I think he'd written a book called 50 Years of Being an Angler, Fisherman, I should say. So, obviously, you know, it's a book worth reading, I suppose. You know, there's a lot of history there, a lot of magic moments. At the end of the day, Carpheadbangers, he lived the dream. You know, 50 years, just a bit sad how, you know, sometimes the ending of life just comes to us, you know. So, anyway, nothing but respect. You were a legend, Mr. John Wilson. Rest in peace. Well, Carpheadbangers, today's show's about are we losing sight of how to think about fishing, why we should think about fishing. Strange things happened to me this week, to be fair. Obviously, I've highlighted that I've decided to sort of step back from the social media side, because obviously it was just a bit busy, and took a lot of time up, as I've said. But one thing I come to realize about myself, just not being on social media, is the time I've sort of had for myself to do a lot of other things. And on reflection of not like being on social media for the last few weeks, you'd be surprised what you don't think about, or what you could think about. So that's why I thought I'd talk, you know, have the show today called, you know, are we losing sight of how to think as anglers? Because when you look at social media, it's all about the next like, it's all about the next post, who's going to make you laugh and things like that. And for me, that stops you thinking, because you're just following the timeline of the next post, the next like. And so with me not being on social media for the last few weeks, I'm shocked within myself that I've took my mind to where I like going within myself, and that's like thinking about me fishing, and thinking about what you can create in your mind if you can, you know, create that wonder rig, or, you know, a product that someone might like, or something like that, you know what I mean? So my mind's been running down that route over the last week, and it's surprised what you can come up with, and surprised myself, to be fair. Just and I quite enjoyed just tinkering around, messing around with components and ideas and things like that. So anyway, watch this space. I think I've come up with a little bit of a magic moment. But anyway, I'm serious in the sense of, you know, as anglers, are we thinking about, you know, because if we spend time looking at in other areas in what our interests are, besides just looking at social media, you'd be surprised what you can come up with in the time frame of, like, you know, not being on social media. So to be honest, I'm very pleased with myself this week. So that's why I felt it was worth raising that point. I don't know what you think, Carpheadbangers, but for me, it definitely sort of made me a lot happier within myself, having that time to think about different things rather than thinking about, you know, who's liking the next post, as much as I like communicating with my friends on Facebook and things like that. It was just really the time frame and of how much time you put in and talking to people, especially with, if you've got quite a few friends who like you. So I just found it all an interesting experience, to be fair. Anyway, I've got a friend called George George McGuire. Freaking hell, he's only been my mate for about bloody 15 years. But anyway, George was one of the first anglers who taught me how to think about carp fishing. And George had been a carp angler for, over 60 odd years, if not more, maybe 65, 67 years has been a carp angler. And so he served his time like John Wilson. But what was good about George, it's just the way he thought, to be fair, Carpheadbangers. He wasn't really bothered whether he caught. And I tell you how real he was as an angler. He's never took a photograph of any fish he's caught. Never. And when I asked him the question, how come you've never took a photograph of any fish you caught, George? He said, I don't need to. They're all in my head. And to be fair, I just stepped back from when he said that. I just said to myself, that'll do for me. That's someone who sees angling for what it is and enjoys it for what it is. But not only that, what was really brilliant about him, Carpheadbangers, was the fact that it was just his passion. You know what I mean? And just to give you a little example of his passion and how deep it is. Obviously, somewhere along the line, we're all going to sort of not be able to go fishing. We're going to have to do something else in our lives, because obviously age will creep on us all. So in effect, and to be fair, it creeped on George, because unfortunately he lost his sight. And it was over the last few years I used to take him fishing all the time, just pick him up, take him fishing, put his bivvy up, make sure he's settled all in. Obviously, make sure that wherever he was safe enough for him, because his eyesight wasn't too good, and it was, rapidly he was losing his sight. And unfortunately, it just come to a time where the risk was just too great, and I just didn't want to see him get hurt. So unfortunately, I had to sort of have a frank chat with him, and we agreed, to be fair. But anyway, I went to see him, and you talk about various things, this and that, the old days, the way we used to think, because obviously, when you've got something in common, you're just going to talk about fishing, and that's something me and George used to talk about. And the funny thing about George, he used to have a friend called Dave, and basically they used to chat fishing all the time when George used to go and visit him, and I used to be a friend of Dave's. Obviously when they come in fishing, I used to sort of say, what the friggin' hell are you talking about? So it's funny how my path of life changed to become an angler, and obviously being friends with George and Dave at the time, the experience they had as anglers was just like so vast, because when you've been an angler for over 50 odd years at the time, and a thing or two. And the funny thing about George was he was just always a tinker man, always thinking ahead of the game, always thinking of new ideas, and it wasn't bothered if he caught on it. And even if he caught on his idea, he'd always try and look for another idea and still persist trying to catch with his new idea until he caught. And that's what I loved about him. He was just dead creative in the mind, and for me he was ahead of the game as an angler. Unfortunately, just the years end up creeping ahead of him. So I'd like to introduce you to George. Obviously we're in the Carpheadbangers studio, and I was going to invite him up, and obviously we'll have a frank chat about the old days. And obviously I think you'd find it interesting, because for me, our history as anglers comes from the past. you know, the past set the standards, and then obviously the standards improve and go down a direction the way it does. And obviously, you know, we're all here today doing what we're doing, and we see what we see, and, you know, but it's the old stories which fascinate me, because obviously the mind of anglers and how creative they wanted to be to try and sort of find a new rig, or you know, the best bait or the best tactics, or for me that's just, the minds must have been more active in them days, rather than the way I see it today through social media, because I just don't see genuine conversations about, you know, anglers enjoying fishing, except on our Carpheadbangers community page. So you need to look that up. I'll guarantee you'll meet a lot of nice anglers on there, believe me. Believe me, there's a lot of top blokes. But anyway, George is a real guy, never done social media, just done his fishing, and he was just definitely old school for me. So what I'm going to do, Carpheadbangers, I'm going to go down to his, and we're going to carry on this programme, Let's Talk Carp Fishing, and what we'll do, we'll have a chat in his kitchen. So anyway, before I go there, I will just go on here, and what I want to do is, hold on, get the right one. We've got a winner, Carpheadbangers. Anyway, Carpheadbangers, it's time to pick a winner for the hoodie before I go down to see George. And basically, I've picked this guy. He left a message. His name's Roy Close, and he said, very interesting, and made me think about what carp do, like you said, in the layers. Is it protecting that baited area or spooking off it? I think I will be thinking differently about things. Well done, mate. At the end of the day, Carpheadbangers, fishing's just about trying to help people, letting them see things that they don't normally see, because obviously I get around to see quite a few places and see different things, and obviously I have a knack of how to present it to yourselves, and obviously I enjoy what I do. But his reply for me was a really good reply, because at the end of the day, that's something I've always tried to do, is just, you know, try and educate people. Hopefully they enjoy what I try and do, and what I'm trying to create, which is basically just leave a journey of friggin' magic moments and memories, because that's all fishing is to me, because that's all I'm going to be left with. You know what I mean? You're not going to get anything else off it. You know, when it comes to, you know, when we all decide enough's enough sort of thing. But anyway, just give you a refresh. Yes, Roy Close. I'll send you a message. This is your hoodie. There you go. You won one of them. Well, I've got to say, it's looking good. Anyway, Carpheadbangers, I'm off to see George now, so I'll see you in a minute. Bye for now. Yes, I've still got a Carpheadbangers. Can't let it go. Do you remember before the focus? Oops, don't want to be raking that now, do we? Hey. So go. Get in there, use lot. Oh. Chilly, I must admit. Well, we'll see it all in a minute. Can't be using the camera and driving now, can I? Let's talk carp fishing. Well, it's quite a few miles to George's. Well, we don't mind seeing old friends. We're nearly there, not far now. Waiting in these traffic lights now. I'm looking forward to seeing them. Anyway, let's put the camera down. Catch you all in a bit. Bye. Well, this is one of the streets in the Carpheadbangers, a place called Old Swamp. Bumps aren't good. To slow down, we're nearly here. I think we'll park here. Oops. Oh, right. I won't be making any bumps like that in my new one. See you in a minute. Greetings, Pauline. How are you? Is the big fella then?
Yeah.
Well, let's come in, eh?
He's just come to the win.
Oh, has he? I've had a few. Hello, how are you doing, George?
Very well.
I'm glad to see you, because it's been a bit of a while, hasn't it, lad? Hey?
Yeah, you're right there.
Anyway, Carpheadbangers, welcome back to Let's Talk Fishing. I've now arrived at my good friend George McGuire's house, in his kitchen. So we've got a George McGuire kitchen studio going on. Maybe a few lights and shadows, but unfortunately we're all working off hock at the minute. Just trying to our best to get everything in order. But anyway, how are you doing, George?
Pardon?
How are you doing, lad?
I'm doing all right.
Tell you what, it's been a while, hasn't it, lad?
Yeah, I can't see, you know.
Well, it's one of them things, isn't it, George? You just do the best you can, innit?
Yeah, right.
Everyone's got
problems.
Innit?
Yeah.
So,
you're right there.
but anyway, the purpose of the calling down to see you was obviously to introduce you to all the Carpheadbangers. And basically talking about the old times of carp fishing.
Oh God.
Yeah. And if there's anything if there's anybody I know knows about carp fishing, it's you.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you've put some years in, haven't you, lad?
I have,
and we've fished together quite a while over the years, haven't we?
Yeah.
So basically, it's just really to give the Carpheadbangers an understanding of what it was like in your day when it was fishing, because with social media, fishing's moved on since obviously you retired and you're fishing, and basically everyone looks at it in a different way, has a different value and how they see things. So getting an old-timer's perspective and your perspective, because I have a saying, people see what they see and they know what they know, and so in effect, as much as everyone sees into other people's lives in regarding fishing, there's people who've sort of, in my opinion, kept it real to the core. Yeah, and as you know, George, I've got a lot of respect for you when it comes to carp fishing, because you know you give me a lot of time in your life and sort of teaching me and to think about things in this way and that way, and obviously that education has just sort of grown within myself as a carp angler. So I'd just like to share this moment with my friends, all the carp headbangers out there, and I'm sure there'll be some interesting conversation taking place, really. So what I'd like to talk about, George, when did you first start carp fishing?
Oh God, when I was 7.
7?
Yeah.
And how old are you now?
82.
82, so that means 75 years.
7 or 8, you know.
Yeah, in relation to thinking about carp fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I started with a 6-foot cane.
Right, okay. We don't use canes now, George.
No.
We use carbon fibre, which you know, like, because...
There was no rods made because it was during the war.
Right, okay. So, in 1947, did you say?
Well, let's see, it was, 47, yeah.
So,
No, 40, I was born in 36, 1944, 45, you know, I was fishing.
right, that was your first time you were...
I used to fish for little ones, little ones first, you know.
Right.
And
What do you mean by little ones?
well, tension.
Okay.
And then I caught a carp.
Okay,
And
so...
that sent me off then. And this man who used to come on the lake, he was fishing for carp as well, but how we used to fish for it then was a size 10 hook.
Okay.
With as many maggots that you could put on it.
Right, okay.
On the bottom.
So why was you using maggots?
Pardon?
How come you started with maggots?
Well, there wasn't much to fish with then. There was paste. Used to make paste, but it didn't last long.
Okay.
And sweet corn wasn't out and things like that. You
Right,
know.
okay.
So it was mostly maggots, that's all, and worm, you know.
Okay. Okay.
And then in the end, boilies come out.
So when was the first boilie in your mind?
I can't remember, really. It's going back. Anyway, when boilies were out, they told you how to make them. They didn't sell them in the shop.
Okay.
You had to make them yourself.
Okay.
Maize, what was it?
I hope you're hearing this, Carpheadbangers. Everyone had to make their own boilies. Get onto that.
Yeah. And, well, I started experimenting with them.
So what age did you start experimenting, George?
Oh, I can't remember.
Because this is no, can I just stop you there? This is a good point, George, and the reason it's a good point is because on social media it's all about the next like, it's all about who's got a big fish, and anglers being wanting to be seen in the social media side of fishing. So for me, I think people are losing sight of being anglers and thinking about being an angler because it's social media orientated in a big way. So in effect, I think anglers are stopping themselves from actually improving themselves. They become part of the cycle of friggin' social media now. It works rather than thinking about, can you make a new rig or a new presentation, or, you know, just tweaking things to give you a little edge within yourself. Because when it comes to fishing, you know, and I know, George, it's about challenging your own mind, isn't it? Rather than having a sort of a lazy mentality when it comes to understanding and learning fishing. So anyway, sorry to be a bit long-winded in that, but there is a point of picking up in the way you just put your comment there. So go on, carry on.
Well, I started making boilies, my own boilies, which is, you can make a boilie out of anything, but you must have a liquidizer and a grinder.
Yeah.
And in the end, I was making boilies out of shrimps.
Yeah.
Bungly, you could put them in, liquidise them, and start putting your paste in. And that's my angling all the way through, experimenting with different things, fish, you know. I never bought any boilies.
I've not. That's another thing. I'm not being funny, Carp. This is another thing you got to be. Okay, I'm going to tell you a number of truths about George. He's about as real as he's going to get.
Yeah.
He's never took a photo of any carp, have you, George?
No.
And I remember you're always telling me you don't need to. Why?
Because if you catch a big fish, and you'll never get the peg back.
Oh, no. I'm referring to, George. Referring to, you didn't ever take photos of your fish, did you?
Yeah, I couldn't be bothered.
No, I appreciate that, but it's like, what's the reasons why, you know, besides being bothered? Because I remember you telling me the reason you don't bother taking photos of your fish because you don't need to, because they're in your head.
That's true, that, yeah.
And I remember
true,
that,
yeah.
and I remember that conversation with you. Yeah. So it's never forgot me. So obviously asking the same question, I was hoping you're going to come out with the same line, because none of this is rehearsed, is it, George?
No,
you know what I mean? We're sitting down. Hey, Pauline, I've got a present for George. And I come to realise, oh, sorry about this, Carpet. I've come to realise we're chatting away and we haven't even had a cup of tea yet, have we?
No.
So anyway, I've got a present for you, George.
Yeah. What is it?
It's a Carpheadbangers mug.
Oh, bloody good.
Oh,
I'll take it.
I'll put it right in front of you. There you go.
Yeah, right. That's great, that.
So I brought my own as well, so we can have our chat.
Yeah.
Innit?
Yeah.
Anyway, I've also got you something else while we're here. I've brought you the Carpheadbangers hoodie.
Oh, that's good. I'll stand by the gate.
So anyway,
yeah, it's great.
here it is, Carpheadbangers. Just give my good friend George a hoodie. You ready?
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, Phil, you're good.
Oh, right. Do you like the feel of it, lad? Yeah. Well, it suits you, George.
I know.
Hey,
I've always looked this good.
I'll have to take you out with us soon, lad, and just sit in the bank and chat.
Yeah.
I hope you like that, Carpheadbangers. Just treat me friend. So, obviously you used to have to make your own boilies.
Yeah, I used to make them out, yeah.
So, when it comes to making your own boilies, what was your... Hey, Pauline, have a cuppa.
Say it, mate.
Sorry we lost you there, George. Freaking camera problems, lad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you used to get eight tins of sardines, 2 salmon.
Yeah, and I used to liquidise the lot. But as I was liquidising, I'd a certain amount, I'd start putting the whatever soya flour and stuff like that in to sweeten them. And I'd ground Vitalin up, that's a dog food, and put that in as well. And then I used to make boilies out of them. But I never ever boil them. I always steam them, because when you boil them, you take a lot of the flavour.
Well, I know that's the problem with bait, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we've discussed this many times.
Yeah.
When you're boiling a boilie, you're actually degrading the quality of the boilie,
so
aren't
better
you?
steam in it.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I used to get corks and make any shape of floater I wanted out of cork. I used to buy a packet of cork, which you can't when you buy floaters. They're all round.
Yeah.
You know, and a different shape just made attract the fish, because you used to getting caught on round baits. Yeah? And that's how I used to do it. But I used to make them. You'd be surprised with the stuff I made them out of.
Oh, well, I know, George, because you were always a tinker man, wasn't you?
Yeah.
You were never happy with what you were doing.
Yeah.
You were always searching for the perfect.
And when I caught fish on them, I had to change it.
Yeah, I know. That's what was so baffling about you, because most anglers, George, they don't change what works. Do you get it? But you always change what works.
No, I had to change it.
I know.
Catching fish on it, and I changed it, yeah.
You just challenged yourself.
Sometimes I blanked you,
I know.
but it didn't matter. Like,
I know.
that was the exciting part about it.
You know, well,
You know.
we have the same type of thinking, aren't we, George? So
Yeah.
we're pretty old school in our sort
Yeah.
of... Well, I know I've educated myself through yourself, so I know my education's been the old school type of thinking, rather than the way the newer generation thinks, if you know what I'm saying.
I tell you another time what I did.
Yeah, but the wife was very good. She said, "Go." She used to say, "Go out fishing. Go on, go with your mate fishing."
That's good.
And I used to stay at the mate's house at the weekend sometimes, you know, in the Shropshire, on Ellesmere and that, you know. I've had some good times on Ellesmere, and I got invited to fish other waters.
That's because you were respected as an angler, wasn't it?
Everyone wanted to fish Fenimore, and I got invited to fish it. I could have joined it, and from Fenimore, when I had a weekend on Fenimore, I had a couple of 20s, lost to 30. Then I got invited to another lake the same weekend, and another 20 off that. So,
and I believe they were jealous, weren't they, George? Because they've been fishing there all year. That happens, doesn't it, George? You know, bit of luck and all that, going to different venues. But you like travelling, didn't you, to go into different places?
Oh, I did, yeah. Just didn't have anyone to travel with me, like, sometimes, you know. Well, that's the top and bottom of it, like, you know. Well, Huey and them used to come, you know. He was
Huey's one of your old friends, wasn't he?
Yeah, and Zeb.
And Zeb and
a few others, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to have a week on the lake, in the woods.
In Shropshire?
In Shropshire, yeah, on Whitemere.
Yeah.
And we had the whole side of the lake to ourselves, you know.
What in relation to Whitemere, what's magical about it in your opinion, George? Because we spent a lot of years on those lakes, didn't we?
Well, what happened on Whitemere, when I got in the club, no one fished Whitemere.
And why didn't he want to fish Whitemere?
Because he thought there was hardly any fish. Huey fished it for a year and had one fish. And Zeb. But he went about it the wrong way, really.
Why is that?
Well, when he baited up, he just baited up one place.
Yeah.
I baited up 100 yards a length with...
What do you mean 100 yards length?
Along the lake.
Oh, right along the bank, you mean?
Yeah, right along the bank.
Okay.
100 yards.
And describe what you mean 100 yards of baiting on the lake. What does that mean to you?
I was mostly fishing, putting sweet corn, proper sweet corn, and the other corn, what is it? Yellow, you buy it in the bag. And me and Morris used to, twice a week, go all the way in the closed season, go the full length, because once the season started, it all go in the lilies.
Right, because it's obviously...
Yeah, it's a big lake, it's 68 acres.
Yeah.
And we blanked for the first week, you know, and then Morris had 3 fish, and the fish would come in towards me, and then he'd turn down and go back. So I got there before him, and they come right up to me and the fish. There was 5. He had 3, I had the 2 of them, like, you know. But no one ever fished it, and I fished for 2 years, and I had just over 100 fish. And everyone was saying, "What have you got?" He said, "No."
No, because in your day it was all about secrets, wasn't it? And basically people, you know, not telling people their ideas, because it was really creative in your day, wasn't it? Fishing.
Yeah.
No, when I'm saying creative, because what I'm trying to get to is what I was saying earlier, is the fact that social media stopped people being creative and stopped people stop them thinking. But in your day, when anglers was really strong and growing at such a rate, everyone was thinking, weren't they, how to be the best angler.
Yeah.
Do you get me?
Yeah.
There was a lot more thought into it, where it's just accepted to go and buy a rig off a shelf, or, you know, have a boilie presented to you in the way where in your day there was a lot more creativity going on in fishing. Yeah. And that's why I enjoyed your side of fishing, because it made you think, and it made you enjoy because you did think about it, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I just feel as if we need to go back to them roots, to be honest, George. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because that would make people better anglers. Yeah. Because like you know and I know that a lot of anglers don't go down that road. They want it easy, don't they? Yeah. And it's only the anglers who really put the work in. Yeah. And for me, you were one of them guys. You were always grafted. You were always working hard, always having a strategy, always having a plan. Yeah. Yeah. And not only that, you were aware of your surroundings, and you tried to take advantage of it. Where no one was really challenging themselves, were they? And a lot of those anglers in your club were good anglers, weren't they? Oh God, yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Some of them are like considered top anglers in the country as well. Oh, they were, yeah. Some of them were. So, just a case of it is what it is, and you had your enjoyment the way you did. Oh, I did, yeah, I did. Yeah. So.
Do you know the canals?
Yeah.
Do you know the stuff that you scrape grass up with and it's got all wires in it?
Hmm.
Yeah, well, I used to go on the canal in Runcorn and scrape the bottom with it
Yeah.
to get the shelf out of it. You know the, what are they called?
Bloodworm.
No, shells about that big.
Oh, the mussels.
Mussels.
Yeah.
I used to get mussels. And,
You seen these tips?
pardon?
I'm just talking to the camera, George.
Mussels. I used to use them as bait, but you could only fish really close in with them because they'd come off, you know. But they caught fish all right, you know. But they even catch 10, that's the trouble, like as well.
So what sort of things did you use to help you try and catch fish? Because obviously you've played with that many options in your time. What have you used to catch fish, George?
Different methods, as I just explained.
Yeah, I know, yeah, but what I believe I remember you telling me you used to do it on marshmallow and potato and...
Oh, I've done all that, yeah.
Yeah.
Done it all. Done it. I've caught him on mussels.
Yeah.
After your boy in the shop, you know. That's what's the name? I've caught him on shrimps, not shrimps, prawns.
Yeah.
Dale hook. What else? God, I've caught him on all kinds of things, Bill. It'll shock you. I tell you what, I did catch you one on once. A licorice also.
How did that work out, George?
Well,
Well, he likes sweets.
the sweets,
I know, yeah.
Licorice also sweets.
Like sweetie stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You can catch
But
them on jelly babies.
I know, but in my fishing, George, I've always been on your type of thinking in the sense of the best attraction is always going to be a fish type product.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's why I think the ultimate product has always been squid, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And so obviously, what George hasn't known about me over the last few years, because I haven't seen him for a few years, George, have I? So I've developed obviously the bait range and things like that. And I like you to show you it, George. I haven't brought the range, I just brought 2 items, to be fair, because the product range is all based round the magic stuff range, the stinky squid, you know what I mean? Yeah. So obviously you know how pop-ups work and you know how sprays work and things like that. I just thought I'd give you a little smell. Just to I know you can't see what I'm doing, but I'll get out my chair, lad, and I'll pass you them. And I'll let you... Yeah, sorry, George, they're in front of you, lad. They're in front of you. Tell me what you think. First reaction.
It's very good, Phil. There's good smell on it.
Do you like it?
Yeah.
Good.
They're quite good. The fish like them.
Well, I'm catching on them.
Oh, well, there you go then. Yeah.
And people who bought have catched on them.
Round, yeah.
But you know what I'm about, don't you, George?
Yeah.
Nice. So what do you think of them, Jen, George?
They're quite good. Yeah. Good smell on it.
Do you like it?
Yeah. You should do well on it, tell her the truth. Shit. Little boilie, yeah.
What's been the best memories of your carp fishing, George?
Best memories?
Yeah.
God, it's hard.
What's carp fishing meant to you over the years?
Oh, everything. The only time I packed in carp fishing for a bit was when I had my daughter.
Right.
And my wife, and I thought, it's not fair on them.
Right.
Because let's face it, all men are selfish.
No, we are selfish. Really creative in your day, wasn't it, fishing?
Yeah.
No, when I'm saying creative, because what I'm trying to get to is what I was saying earlier, is the fact that social media stopped people being creative and stopping them thinking. But in your day, when anglers was really strong and growing at such a rate, everyone was thinking, weren't they, how to be the best angler.
Yeah.
Do you get me?
Yeah.
There was a lot more thought into it, where it's just accepted to go and buy a rig off a shelf, or have a boilie presented to you in the way where in your day there was a lot more creativity going on in fishing. Yeah. And that's why I enjoyed your side of fishing, because it made you think and it made you enjoy because you did think about it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just feel as if we need to go back to them roots. to be honest, George.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
that would make people better anglers.
Yeah.
Because like you know and I know that a lot of anglers don't go down that road. They want it easy, don't they?
Yeah.
And it's only the anglers who really put the work in.
Yeah.
And you, for me, you were one of them guys.
You always
who
having a plan. Yeah.
Yeah.
And not only that, you were aware of your surroundings and you tried to take advantage of it, where no one was really challenging themselves.
Were they? And a lot of those anglers in your club were good anglers, weren't they?
Oh God, yeah.
You know what I mean? Some of them are like considered top anglers in the country as well.
Oh, you were, yeah. Some of them were.
So,
It is what it is, and you had your enjoyment the way you did.
Oh, I did, yeah.
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 So it's all good, isn't it, George?
You know, I love trying different things, you know. I just loved it, you know.
I'm like that myself, George.
You know?
Yeah, well, I'm like that myself because I do experiment a little bit and I do come up with little ideas. And I was telling the Carpheadbangers earlier on, as I was at in the Carpheadbangers studio kitchen, that I've been a little bit creative myself in a few of my ideas, which I've shown you, haven't I?
Yeah.
And in relation to looking at them ideas, what do you honestly think?
Well, it's all changed now, carp fishing, hasn't it? You know,
Yeah.
you're more technology now.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah.
But in relation to the ideas of showing you to
Oh,
catch
they're
carp,
good. Yeah.
do you think they're unique or different, George?
No, they're unique. Tell you the truth, you know.
Have you ever imagined what I presented you could be?
Not really, you know.
No, that's what's
I've
good
got
about
to
it.
see it work, you know.
Well, that's what I need to see work as well. We're just on an early test, aren't we? You know what I mean?
You could, if it works, like you're laughing, you know.
So anyway, George, when it comes to, obviously you're 85 years of age now, aren't you?
82.
82, sorry. I do apologise, George, I do apologise. So you're 82.
Yeah.
So what, in the time you've not been carp fishing, what's the biggest sort of...
what do you miss the most?
Oh, everything. Everything. The wildlife, the woods, the animals. I miss it all, you know. Because when you're in your bivvy in the water, it comes alive and they become to get you. They're not scared of you, you know. And
So what you're trying to say is you're part of the environment.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying, and that's what you loved about it. Because I know what your passions is just as much as mine, isn't it? When it comes to fishing. And we've spent many cold days on lakes, haven't we, lad?
Oh, God,
especially
yeah.
-5s. Do you remember that when the lakes all just froze?
God, I've had some terrible lake. The lake froze right over, and it's 6 inches of snow. You know.
Where was that on?
Right near Boxing Day,
Boxing Day.
New Year's Day.
I used to go down there on the Boxing
I
Day.
went with Zeb,
Yeah.
and the first night we had 6 inches of snow. Hughie come down and said, "You'll have to come back to our house, George." I said, "No, I'm all right. It's got me rods out, you know." And the next day it froze. It was 12 below.
Was it?
Unbelievable. You could have picked me bivvy up like that. It was frozen, solid. And I had to light me fire to melt me the bivvy and just screw it together and put it in the back of my car. You know.
Because it's all been frozen up.
Oh yeah, and I
with the
said,
moisture.
hope we get out the car park. You know. Oh, I've had some... It's all carp fishing, isn't it? Carp fishing, you know.
Oh yeah, it's all
Isn't
about
it?
the
Yeah.
memories and you've shared
Yeah.
with people and the
Yeah.
time you put on the bank. Because at the end of the day, time it waits for no man, doesn't it? And it just eventually catches up with us all.
Yeah. It's not all about catching fish.
No, it's never been about that for us anyway, has it, George?
No,
Because
no.
we've always looked at it in a different way, haven't we?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? It's all about how you want to value yourself,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
It's all a state of mind at the end of the day, isn't
It
it?
is, yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? Ego and have a way you want to
Don't
put
go
it.
miserable, you know.
No.
I used to have a gang down my bivvy, talking.
Well, nobody asked because everyone liked you, George.
Yeah.
You entertain people with your personality on the bank of being funny and that.
I used to have always, the most I had round me was 26.
26.
Yeah, I'd visit me on Newton the end, and you know what they were doing? They were peeing round me bivvy. And when the sun come out, the smell was horrendous. I had to move.
Anyway, George, we're going to have to cut it there, mate. For the simple reason, that I've only planned to do an hour show, roughly, to be fair. And I'm running out of batteries because I see them clicking away. But anyway, Carpheadbangers, I hope you enjoyed Let's Talk Carp Fishing and my good friend, George McGuire.
Why not?
Just sharing a few memories. And the end of the day, Carpheadbangers, that's what we're all trying to find. Positive memories.
It's all about it.
And just enjoying what we're doing, isn't it? And that's what we've always tried to do, isn't it, George?
It's true, Bill. It's dead true.
Anyway, Carpheadbangers, I hope you enjoyed the show. Please make a comment. What you think we could do for the future, any suggestions. Send us some of your picks so we can perhaps do a little Carpheadbangers news round. And end of the day, Carpheadbangers, it's just fishing. So hope to see you next time on Let's Talk Carp Fishing Vlog 3. Bye for now. Say bye.
Everyone.
Bye. Bye.